You like Powerade or Gatorade? You don't like Powerade? Some of it's good. Alright. Yo, include your audio. So this is Gangster and Seven's Quantum Break review, and this is a half-assed one because there's no Quantum Break gameplay. But that's just because it's really fucking hard. Either I go full-fledged and I get all the gameplay required, or I just do it like this. And I wanted Hero to be in the review also, so I thought we'd just get Hero. I'll post this on the channel. Motherfuckers won't watch it anyways. But, you know, I'm going to sit here and talk about Quantum Break, though. So, Hero, what are your thoughts on Quantum Break?
I really like Quantum Break. I don't know what everybody's beef is with it. I thought the story was really good. I don't know what everybody's beef is with the TV, the live action part. I didn't have a problem with that either. I didn't like the first recap or whatever, the first episode of it, because it was pretty boring and I can skip them making out because no one wants to see that. But
I skipped that shit on my second watch.
Towards the end of the game, it really tied in well with the story. It's a must-watch towards the end of the game if you want to know everything that's going on. Like, it tied in very, very well. But I don't know what everybody's beef is with that.
Well, it was like
you didn't watch the. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I mean, I don't want to spoil it. What I was gonna say would be a spoiler anyway.
Yeah, I don't spoil it yet. So what I was gonna say is I think also a lot of dudes went into the game looking for something else. Like, it's just a heavy story, narrative-driven game. If you don't like games like Portal and fucking other games that are full of fucking story, then don't play this game. This ain't for you. This is like all story. All you're gonna get out of it is story. It's like BioShock Infinite, but with BioShock Infinite, it was a little bit lesser on the gameplay side. But if you don't like long stories with lots of detail and fully fledged out and just really fucking well done, and it makes you think and you constantly have to understand what's going on.
Yeah, it's a story that's not spoon-fed to you. That's why all the
viewers got all butthurt.
Salty.
Yeah.
Because it's not spoon-fed to you. You got to sit there and read and think about it and figure it out for yourself. It all comes to fruition at the end. You start understanding more stuff. Questions are definitely answered. But during the middle of the game, when you're confused as fuck, you gotta think about it. You gotta read and learn the backstory of the characters and figure out what their plot is. But people are pissed because it's not spoon-fed to them, and they don't like to read or think because they have fucking tiny brains.
I think it factors in also the game reviewers have this mindset of, let's play this game as fast as possible so we can put up a review. And this game doesn't need to be played as fast as possible. It has to be played as slow as possible, to be honest. If you want to do a real review, then you need to 100% complete the game, and you need to sit there and understand everything about the story to put up a fair review.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
This isn't like a Call of Duty campaign or Battlefield where you can just play it once and like, yeah, what I saw is what I get.
If you just play this story as fast as possible and not read anything, you're missing half the story. I mean, you're missing a shit ton of stuff because you didn't read her diary, you didn't read the backstory on Hatch or Paul. I mean, you're missing a lot of stuff, like the emails back and forth. Like, if you don't read that stuff, you're missing a lot of backstory on the characters and figuring out what's gonna happen.
So, I mean,
but yeah, people are pissed because I guarantee you, if I know this is out of context, but I'll tell you what I mean in a sec. But the whole Destiny thing, they changed that story.
No, that's out of context. Oh my God.
They say that they changed that story because it was going to be too convoluted for players like that. They wanted the story to be somewhat spoon-fed to them, even though the story still sucks ass on that game. But I'm gonna die because I have no ammo, by the way. But I guarantee you, if they would have kept Destiny's stories convoluted, where it made more sense in the end, people would have been pissed because they wouldn't have understood most of the game.
That would have been true. And I really believe that from,
I mean, I guarantee you that's what the reviews are, is they just skipped through the game and they didn't actually read or anything, so they're missing half the story, so it just seems like a bunch of jumbled mess to them.
It reminds me of, like, it reminds me a lot of, like, the Call of Duty zombie storyline, where I bet if you ask some of these people that play it, like, the ones that aren't, like, knee-deep in it, I bet if you ask them what the fuck's going on, some of them really just won't know what's
They won't be
going
able
on.
to answer. Yeah, they'll have no idea.
they can only tell you what they've seen from the Easter eggs. They can't tell you from all the atmosphere and all the other clues and shit.
Some stories don't need to be spoon-fed. I don't know what everybody's big deal is.
I think it comes.
A game comes out with that good of a story, and it's not just here's the story. This is everything that happened. You have to sit and think about it. It was amazing. The storytelling in that game was really good too.
So, Lender, what are your thoughts on that rant I put up where I bashed that review by the IB Times or whatever the fuck they were in the UK, and then their complaint about the gameplay, how the gameplay was basically boring.
That game isn't revolved around the gameplay. That's not what that game.
So you're telling me a game?
Like Quantum Break posted like, "Oh, this game has great gameplay. You should play it." No,
so you're telling me a game shouldn't have good gameplay if it's in the title gameplay? Doesn't matter.
What?
I'm just asking the question.
I mean, you stumped me. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but. No, that game is not, it's not gameplay, it's not what it's meant, it's a story. And like Aaron said, the gameplay is really good if you can change, like I'll admit it's boring as fuck until you learn all your abilities, but once you learn all your abilities and you learn how to chain them together, it's really good.
After we got here, after you said goodbye to your evil twin.
I mean, it really is, where you're not sitting behind cover so much, because the cover is wonky in that game, but once you're like running around when time's frozen and shit and dashing here and there and you're not using that as much, the gameplay isn't that bad. Definitely better than Fallout. Fallout's gameplay doo-doo.
Wow, it's down a shade of
Fallout's gameplay is literally just people walking around for hours.
I've seen some mixed thoughts on having to put the controller down and watch a cutscene for 10-15 minutes. I wanted your thoughts on that.
I didn't have a problem with it. Like I said, the first one wasn't that great. I definitely could have skipped it, but towards the end, I was into it. Like, it didn't matter to me if I wasn't playing. It was really good. Like I said, man, that final 10-minute, 15-minute segment of light action was fucking amazing. I mean, it was absolutely amazing the way it tied into the story. Because, like I said, if you don't watch that final live action,
yeah, a lot of stuff happens as far as that affects that is the story. So
yeah, if you don't watch that final, if you don't really pay attention to that stuff, then the end, I won't tell you what happens, but at the end, when you see a certain person, it's just gonna be, oh, there he is again. Like, if you don't pay, like, the live action trailer really, like I said, it ties in really well at the end of the game.
I haven't really seen anybody mad about the Nissan and Windows Phone placement everywhere. Actually, to be honest with you, I barely see anybody mention Nissan. They all notice the Windows stuff, but they all notice the Nissan. They don't notice the egg things. Also, that egg, that had to have been just there for the fuck of it.
Shit.
That was not there on purpose. I think that lady just used it for that scene, and she just left it there. I'm trying to think, is there any more product placements there on purpose or accident?
There was a couple of Volvos here and there.
Yeah, and and coasters were there.
Everywhere.
I don't know if a coaster company got their name in there on purpose or what. I don't know if that was a thing, but that was funny. I didn't see anybody mention 9/11 playing a small factor into what was it, Paul? Into Paul.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that was really. I really liked how they. I really like how that was there. I didn't see one fucking reviewer mention that so far. How, like, he was really upset about how he couldn't prevent it, and even Beth did, and I really liked that. It's just the little things for me that I like in stories like that, and they incorporated it into it. And I didn't see a reviewer mention it because I don't think a fucking reviewer paid attention, or I didn't see the reviewers mention how everything kind of came. So in the start of the game, they did, and this ain't a spoiler, so they did a cliche where you're like, you and your brother are trying to escape without being detected, and you're about to get caught, but then something happens somewhere else in the world, and that the bad guys go and investigate what that noise was. Well, that's a normal cliche, but in this scenario, it actually makes sense because of the way everything's unfolding at the same time and everything's timing is phenomenal. This ain't Destiny where it's like, oh, that was bullshit, that doesn't make sense, oh, that's cliched. Nah, a lot of the cliches fit. Like, it would make sense when the AI are like, oh, no, we got the guy over here, and they're like, no, we got the guy over here. That was awesome, how everything played together.
Yeah, it was fucking amazing.
And the first time
especially
you do
when
it...
you were doing that mission and figuring it out, it was fucking amazing. You're like, okay, now it makes sense.
There's something I was gonna ask.
I really enjoyed it, and like I said, the attention to detail was phenomenal. Like I mentioned with the 9/11 thing and how Paul made so much money, it made sense. He knew how the stock market would react to stuff. That was dope. I loved it. I loved all the little extra radio and dialogues and stuff. I loved how they incorporated as much of anything as possible. They incorporated outside perspectives. They included people's perspective. They had the radio guy lending his thoughts on everything that was going as like one of the people that lended like an arbitrary person, like they did the same thing in The Division with the guy that lends the podcast in The Division, and they did pretty much the same exact thing for this game. This game reminds me a lot of Division, a lot of the different things, a lot of the cool stuff they added in as far as like echoes and shit like that. Very similar. It has to just be a coincidence, but that was a little weird that they actually are very similar. What are your thoughts on that?
I noticed that they were similar, but I don't know, it didn't bother me if that's what you're asking. I didn't really care.
There is no aim assist.
Me and you
on
pretty much the only
snipers.
people that played that game anyways. No one will ever know.
Well, there's aim assist when you tap left trigger, but there's no aim assist when you hold it down. That's weird. Anyways.
Yeah,
story.
all in all, man,
Gameplay.
that game, dude, really good. I really don't know what everybody's beef is with it. Like, Fallout story didn't even, like, I didn't care enough, like, the story didn't grab me like Quantum Break did. Like, I still haven't completed Fallout to this day, and I never will because that game got really old really fast for me. Like, Quantum Break, once you got past the beginning when shit was slow and you really started figuring stuff out, and it picked up, I was into the story. I didn't want to stop playing the game. I don't know about you, but the story really does grab you and make you not want to stop playing the game. When you're figuring stuff out and everything's coming together, it's really fucking amazing.
No, I agree to that. Need to hit on the point of what's the game's worth? Is it worth $60? Is it worth, or is it worth less than what it is? And so my thought and our thought and the thought seems to be the game's worth a buy, a play, and do that, but it's not worth $60. It's worth a buy. It's more of a rent style game, but since it's not like at Redbox right now, I don't think. I would recommend like buying it and trying to flip it and sell it for like $40. And so you only paid like $20 and some change. That's what I'd recommend.
I definitely don't think it's worth $60, but you should definitely find a way to get it for cheaper, either on eBay or local buy and sell or something. It's definitely worth the play. Please, y'all need to play that game. It's really good, and y'all need to support Quantum Break.
And it's not just that, it's that, and it's like I've been hitting on, Xbox fanboys need to go out and support this, so they need to shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear them ever complain again about exclusives going to PC. They came out and got all butthurt about that, but then if they don't come out and support Quantum Break, then they can fuck off.
Yeah, then an Xbox One exclusive comes out. I wasn't paying attention, but
yeah, you was smoking that blunt toast.
And then a really good game comes out and it's Xbox One exclusive, and no one fucking buys it, and it's a really good game. I'm telling you, don't
sleep on it.
Don't go off some of the reviews because.
Alright, you don't want to pull a Philly and go off the reviews?
No, don't go off the reviews. Buy and play it for yourself. They're talking about all the stuff in that game that it's irrelevant. Like they're comparing the live action to TV shows. It's not a fucking TV show. It's not meant to. That's not what it is. It's not meant to compete with TV shows.
Yeah, that's another thing. Is they wanted to
television.
compare it to a TV show, which is like, whatever, fine, that's what you want to do because it is like a TV show. But they're like comparing it to the top tier TV shows that spend fucking 6 seasons getting to be. They have a 6-year fucking plan of how good it's gonna be. This game had fucking 1 hour to go. All right, we need to tell these stories within a 10-hour game. It's apples to oranges, man. You're trying to compare, like I said, the amount of script is like fucking novels worth, like multiple books, to fucking this game's, how much they can put into each live action thing, which isn't that much.
Yeah, and like I said, the live action was really good and it tied in really well, and the dialogue was really good. Like there was some stuff, there was some jokes that I laughed at, like when
I clipped that out in
characters, when yeah, I
in
saw
that
that.
video,
When certain
the glimpse
characters
into
died,
it.
you were like, damn, I didn't want that person to die. Like, I mean, and like I said, the dialogue is really good. I have no beef with the live action trailers. Like, I don't know what everybody's thing is with them, but definitely go pick the game up and play it for yourself. Don't go off the reviews because they're saying all the shit about it that doesn't make sense. And like we said, the story is not going to be spoon-fed to you. If you go into this game expecting everything to be explained from the live action trailer and the gameplay, then you're not gonna understand the full story.
Yeah, that's another caveat.
Like I said, at the end of the game, when you're on the final mission, something happened, and I was telling Aaron, you know, I think it was this and this because of a note I read. If I wouldn't have read that note, then I would have never known why it happened. And come to find out, after watching diaries and stuff, after we beat the game, I was right. Like, you really gotta read the stuff and pay attention to notes and stuff on the ground that you find, because it has a huge role in the story. Like I said, you're not gonna understand the full story if you don't.
This kid Dodo, man. This is what I have to deal with on a regular basis.
You're not gonna understand the full story if you don't pay attention to everything. It's not just gonna be spoon-fed to you. It's not a fucking campaign from Call of Duty. You gotta think and figure it out for yourself.
Shout out to my dudes Nissan. Shout out to my dudes Microsoft and your Windows placement and your phones that suck, and your tablets that get smashed in that cutscene when one time we go back into effect. Anything else we need to talk about?
Shout out to Liam Neeson, because he's the best in the game. But I think we touched on everything.
I think that was the Quantum Break review. Oh, if you had to give the game a rating, a number.
A number from out of 5 or out of 10?
Out of 10.
I'd give it an 8.5 or a 9. It's a really good game.
And then the graphics, because a lot of people have been talking about the graphics, how the graphics are like really good. I just feel like
graphics are really good.
That goes without saying, but yeah, the graphics are really fucking dope, man. It was just amazing the way they did the graphics. I really liked them.
Yeah, the graphics were fucking amazing.
And after playing this game, it kind of makes me want to try out Alan Wake to see how that game is also.
Yeah, I've been trying to say that to Aaron. We're gonna download it, but this dude keeps playing Black Ops 3.
Because I'd have to sit there and put away another 10 to 20 hours just to sit here and bang out. I'll do that maybe next weekend if there's nothing else to play. But there will be something else to play. We'll have Division or something. So, yeah, I'm not sure yet. Alright, well, I'm ending this video here. Hero is due to its zombies, as you saw.
Breach.